Silksong is out, and I'm busy making another video about it that's way cooler and sicker than this one. But while I waited for my second copy of Silksong to download, not a joke, I went to lunch and rewatched Mossbag's pre-launch video. It was going alright, he called me short and dumb and said he slept with my mom, but the editing was pretty good. Except suddenly, I spotted this guy, and immediately, alarm bells started ringing in my head. I immediately refunded all my 13 copies of Silksong, locked my doors, destroyed my phone, deleted my YouTube channel, and called 911 to tell them to lock up the sick fucks at Team Cherry before they could do any more harm. Why would I do this? Let me show you again. You see it, don't you? This enemy is supposed to be in the Wisp Thicket, but here he's clearly been placed in Greymoor. That's false advertising and lying. I don't know what you sickos do over in Australia, but here in America, we commit our crimes honestly. We even admit to it on Twitter. Now, I could have left it there, but I knew I had to do my due diligence, my civil service, my journalistic service. The Hunt Showdown video counted. That counted. I'm a journalist. My due diligence service, journalist service. And I had to find any other instances of missing or misplaced content in Silksong's marketing. You know, in case they need more evidence when they're going to lock up Team Cherry for their fucking lies. So, put on your Crocs and socks, check your power levels, and forget what a pandemic is, because we're going back to 2019. Oh, spoiler warning. Right. For the audio-only listeners, spoiler warning, please. Please, Josiah, put up spoiler warning. Say it somewhere, because goddamn do I listen to so many videos. It would be like an absolute crime if I, who listens to like 80% of the YouTube videos I consume, didn't verbally say spoiler warning. I mean, that'd just be so fucking evil of me not to tell the audio-only viewers, spoiler warning. For the last year, Team Cherry had been drip-feeding us information on the Hornet DLC. We knew about it since before Hollow Knight even launched. A second playable character was one of the last milestones they hit before the Kickstarter closed, but now it was time to finally see it. Except, Team Cherry had a surprise for us. When the trailer aired, it wasn't Hallownest we would see, but a whole new kingdom, and with it, a whole new game. And with it, a whole new bunch of content that didn't make it into that game. This entire area doesn't exist anymore. We are like 5 seconds into the trailer, bro, and this is an entire cut area. There's actually so much to talk about that we're going to do it later. Put a pin in this. The big bug that spits acids area looks really different. This is like a way more mossy area than in the final game. I wonder if this was before the Wormways existed. But that doesn't really make sense, because then I feel like they wouldn't have an area that would lead over here. Like, what would be the point? But still, it doesn't really make sense that this is so mossy. Maybe they just, like, had a different design aesthetic in mind at the time. They thought that the Wormways was going to be more like the Mossy Grotto. Maybe it led from the Mossy Grotto over to someplace else. I don't know. Either way, it just looks really different, and it's kind of weird. But, again, so much could have changed. Who knows? The Fire Lantern guy in Greymoor, we already talked about him, but he's supposed to appear in the Wisps, in case you didn't know. The giant ant on a bone bridge? Bro, where the fuck is that? Is this place still in the game, but the enemies are different? Later, Josiah, not really, I'm lying. I'm lying to you, the viewer right now. I'm fucking lying to you. Later, Josiah here to say that, no, I confirm that this isn't in the game. It seems like this is a cut area from Hunter's March. Maybe this was the Antlion town? I don't know, it's just me speculating. I don't remember if Trobio's intro is different. Double check that. Don't leave this part in the video, Josiah. Moss Smothers Arena is different. It's less overgrown. I don't know why, man, but Team Cherry really went to town on the foliage in the final release. Just hacking away all of it. Liars and climate deniers. I fucking knew they were evil. The voice actors for Chakra and Sherma are different. So are every other character in this game. I think even Hornet sounds a bit different. It's so early on, and this was so many years later. It makes sense they replaced all the voice actors. But, you know, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence as a service journalism man if I didn't mention this, so there you go. I can't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure that Pilgrim doesn't sit on the bench in Songclave. I have never seen that bench area or that guy with the tentacle face hiding in the shell in my life. Later Josiah here again, he was apparently a part of a larger area called the Barnacle Bay. Nope, that's not what it was called, but I'm gonna call it that. So what are you gonna do, fucking sue me? The shopkeeper looks completely different in Belheart. They moved the quest board, and there is no Stagway sign. Also, the quests don't glow anymore. You'll spot these kind of differences in all the trailers. Team Cherry worked on the game for 6 years, so it's no wonder little things got moved here and there. I can't fucking believe they show off that moment in any, much less the first trailer. Poor little Pilgrim, man, like, what the fuck? That movie got me when I played it. Team Cherry's the one who should have put up a spoiler warning. The quest board is up top for some reason in Songclave. Also, that whole top area just looks different. It doesn't have, like, the further ascending part anymore, where the transport pod is. The window's not there anymore. Also, the quests available just aren't right. Mossberry Brew should be in Bone Town. Like, can you imagine having to go all the way to the Citadel for the fucking, like, Mossberry quest? With that one weird druid witch lady way at the bottom of the world? I need to check on some of these other quests, and maybe I'll put, like, little markers on, or I'll re-record the VO for this. But I'm pretty sure Madness of the Pilgrims just doesn't exist, which is kind of a shame, because it looked like a cool quest. And I need to check on the rest of them. I just don't know. I imagine almost all these do not appear in Songclave, though. They were probably placeholders or are quests that got pushed down to a later area. I don't believe Garmin and Zaza can appear on that raised bridge. Also, Garmin's voice actor is different. Already mentioned that, but... Also, these pilgrims don't spawn up there. The Forged Daughter shop looks a little different. They straight up show the Void, which is crazy. This thing doesn't shoot purple goo anymore. Now it's black and it doesn't linger on the floor. Also, the Void area in this trailer just isn't the Void. I don't know what it is. Like, clearly it's supposed to be the Void. I don't know where else this thing would have appeared. But it's just, like, it doesn't look at all like the Void we get in the final release. So whatever area it's supposed to be in is just... it's probably just a testing space. Whatever area appears when the text says Deadly Tools doesn't look like any place in the game. Maybe the Sprint Masters arena? Those little bugs definitely don't appear there. They only pop up after you kill the big acid splitter. They also can't be upside down like that, so I don't know what's going on with this area. Later editing Josiah here. Again, you're going to be hearing from me a lot in this video. This is the same area that has whatever that barnacle shellfish lamb-looking motherfucker is. It is kind of interesting that those guys appear there because, like, okay, in the final release, you go kill the big mole guy that rides across the ceiling, right? He's this big boss fight that's not even really, like, he's a boss fight, but he's not even really a boss fight. He's got one single move, and he's more of a stage hazard than anything else that you could just, like, get rid of by hitting it enough times till it goes away. But then after you kill him, these little miniature motherfuckers show up for no reason. Like, there's no reason they should have showed up after you killed the mole. It's not like that changed anything. It just, I guess they're not, he's not spitting acid anymore, so I guess they could maybe just go back to their home and chill. But it's so random, right? Like, they just don't appear anywhere else in the entire game. They don't have a moveset. They just walk around back and forth like fucking Goombas. Like, it's such a weird enemy and such a weird place to put them. But now it makes so much sense because clearly they were cut enemies from this Pharloom Bay area. And I guess Team Cherry just had already made them and already put the art up and did all that kind of stuff. So they were like, hey, why not? Which also makes me wonder if that guy was supposed to appear in Pharloom Bay. But actually, that doesn't make sense either because the arena looks like Moss Grotto. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop speculating. The crest looks different. There are no slots in the trailer. The Weaver Blue tool doesn't exist. The Spider Backstep tool has a different icon, and it's also a yellow tool in the final release. And a bunch of other tools have different icons. Whatever the bottom right yellow tool is doesn't exist anymore. Pilgrims don't appear in that area at Deep Docks, so I guess they just did it for the trailer. I believe that Ant Arena looks different. You don't fight the robot sword girl in that flat room, and the room isn't dark like that. Also, the parry move is flashier now, which I think we got out with the better one in the final release. But this does go pretty hard. I'm guessing they just did it for, like, the effect of the trailer, though. I doubt this was supposed to be in the game. The bells don't have a purple glowing crest when you ring them anymore. Now it's this white little burst that happens on the last chime, and that's it. And I think Lace's arena is slightly different. And the worst offense of all. Big white text doesn't appear on screen in the main game anywhere. What the fuck, Team Cherry? My day is ruined. I so wanted that text. Whatever that bell jumping section was is gone now. Tragic. I'd like to remind everyone that this was 3 years later. And it was after an entire pandemic, which didn't really affect Team Cherry, but still, a lot changed. And now we knew by this point in time that it was going to be a full game, not a DLC. I think we knew that when the first trailer released. I should remove that line. The whole color palette for the game brightened up, and most of the areas pop a lot more. Also, the backgrounds were made to be a little bit more blurry in the final release. Personally, I love the art direction in the final release. I think it looks way better, but, you know, rest in peace, not blurry backgrounds. You will be missed by people who are worse at video games than I am. Is Farfield's that bony? Okay, I tried Googling it, and all I got is a picture of this guy. What's interesting is that Hornet's dress gets a lot brighter in a later section of the trailer. It could just be a lighting thing, but I wonder if Team Cherry had already been working on better visuals by this point, and they just used the older footage for parts of the trailer. If there were more changes in the trailer, I had a hard time spotting them. As we get closer to release, you would expect less and less stuff to change. The changes made in the Nintendo Direct are pivotal to understanding Silksong's development cycle. Now, if you see, somehow, the shot of Hornet flying up the big blue expanse is back. Even though by now, Red Coral Gorge had been cut for like 4 years. I'm not sure how that happens. Unless they were lying! Speaking of lying, they say 200 enemies and 40 bosses. But let's compare it to the actual release. There are 236 possible entries in the Hunter's Journal, but 2 of them are optional and can be missed. 3 of them will discount because they are friendly NPCs. I know Team Cherry's evil, but I don't think they expect you to view your friends as enemies. I will count Doggo, though. If that's Hornet's idea of petting, then this is my idea of a handshake. After painstakingly combing through the Hunter's Journal, tirelessly counting every encountered foe, losing sleep, separating them, analyzing every little minute detail, I have come to the conclusion that Team Cherry was right. By my count, I would say there are 38 proper boss fights. So Team Cherry would be lying, except that's me ignoring what I would call field bosses. Someone like this guy. Rhino Grund. That's his name? His name's Rhino Grund? Are you serious? That was the best thing they could come up with? Someone like this guy, Rhino Grund. He's got a juiced health bar, and there are only 2 of him in the whole game. And as we see with Savage Beastfly, having a doppelganger doesn't make you not a boss.
What? No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
No, the reason I don't consider him a proper boss is because in neither of the places you can encounter him does the game lock you into a room. You could just leave and he can't do shit about it. He also doesn't get a proper arena, and his movesets is charging, and that's kind of it. Like, he basically might as well be these guys in the White Ward. Like, he has almost the exact same moveset. I just don't think he qualifies as a boss. Although then again, Moss Mother shouldn't really qualify as a boss, and yet here we are. Even if I don't count it, though, I think Team Cherry does. And that's fair. It's their game. I can make it not count when I make my own game. If I were to count every boss, including field bosses, the count shoots way up to 47. I would consider that well and truly enough wiggle room for Team Cherry to call it 40 bosses. But enemies! Otherwise, it's the release trailer. As you would expect, it looks just like the real game. The fleas are outside of Bellheart in the final release, but the Bellheart entrance looks totally different in the shot. Seth is in a different spot and looks different. Editing Josiah here. This is actually his second location after you beat him. What the fuck? I had no idea this was in the game. Apparently, after you kill him, he revives and travels the breadth of Pharloom, just exploring all the different places and seeing all the different beauty and meeting different people. Like, it's such a cool, fitting tribute for Seth. Like, what a badass character, dude. Thank you, Team Cherry, for making this guy. And thank you, Seth, for existing. There's a kid named Pin sitting outside of the needlesmith shop, and the shop sign is in a way better state with more needles on it. We see more and more evidence at some point or another Bellheart was bustling. It was New York in the 50s, and now it's New York in the 50s. The 1750s, that is. The Reaper crest design was changed, and the tool to sit on walls is in the blue tool slot when it should be yellow. I think it's called like Cling Grip or something. Where the fuck is Hornet where she could fight one of the Steps Guardians with the big shields and the Santa Croc looking place? Apparently Red Coil Gorge was going to have largely the same enemies as Blasted Step, which I guess helps sell that this is what it used to look like. But it's kind of weird for Team Cherry to like add enemies that clearly don't belong in the Red Coil Gorge, like they super heavily clash with the art style of the area, just to help match the lore for the final release of the game. I mean, it's pretty sick lore for a 4-year-old screenshot. The Ant Merchant doesn't have a drop-off point beyond this area, so I guess they moved him before release, or removed a shortcut. Chakra doesn't draw maps besides the Bone Bottom Bench, and the Bench and Little Pilgrim are both farther away from the main town, and also the campfire is a lot brighter, like a lot brighter. The Shellwood background trees look way more prominent in this screenshot, and there is way more falling petals. It actually feels like it's like a woods, you know, like in the name, the Shellwood. It looks like a woods. Final release, dude, I don't know what this place is. It's Park Horse hell, that's what I know. Crabman got spirited away to the Water Temple. This section by Chakra's changed a bit. The background's way more prominent. One of the pillars got moved. There's another opening over here. This slash isn't in the game anymore. And Carmelia's animation changed like just the tiniest bit. It just shoots up one by one instead of all at once now. That's it. And there, after all of that, we're done. That's everything. Except I lied, because we have a whole-on Nintendo Treehouse 20-minute first look. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Admit it. You thought I forgot about the most footage we ever officially got for Silksong. But no, sir. Everything you watched was just a precursor for the real thing. It's exactly the same as the main game. Okay, for real. The colors are a bit darker, which we've already discussed. Silk now glows when you're ready to use it. Nice little feature. You need a dock key instead of a regular lever. This was pretty redundant. I'm glad they changed it. Also, the bell is covered in spiderwebs. And that, for real this time, is it. Boom! I lied. We haven't talked about the backer content. Yes, you thought I forgot for real. Perhaps the biggest question mark hanging over Silksong isn't who are the Weavers, or why is Flick so bad at building bridges. It's what happened to the Steel Soul Assassins. Steel Assassin Sharpie is named that because his dumb head looks like a Sharpie lid. He had a page from 2018, and technically he was released even earlier with his nose whip attack animation. Although his two companions are blacked out here, we actually see them in the reveal trailer during the sequence where they chase Hornet up a section of Coral Gorge, so we know what they look like. Considering how few blog posts Team Cherry made, you would think these guys would be too important to cut. Except this is where the hype man bumps his head on the doorpost that we like to call context. This is the only blog post on Team Cherry's website that gave us any details about Silksong before it was officially announced. We could see they were still in the game by the time the trailer released, but this GIF is the last we ever see of them. February 2019. Team Cherry had 6 years of development to go. And on top of that, the only arena that we actually see them appear in is the Red Coral Gorge, aka the Cut Biome, one of only 2. I think it's safe to assume that Team Cherry's development plans changed along the way, and Sharpie didn't fit into it. For the Sharpie stands in the crowd, I think there's a good chance that we see him pop up again in the future DLC. I mean, he was a backer character after all. Although, he isn't the only backer content that didn't make it in. They probably cut him because Silver Sharpie is the worst one. Pictured here is the scholarly Sweet Trio from the Citadel. At least 2, if not all 3 of them made it in, but as normal enemies instead of as a boss. Now, your man's on the left seems to have only made it in as a silhouette in high halls, and his design was either changed to be the spider guy, or maybe that was the idea for him from the very start, but I don't think you can see him looking like this, so I don't know. Maybe it might be a stretch to call it a cut design. It probably was just a plan like that, but still, again, journalistic integrity, I feel like I have to at least mention it. Either way, this trio isn't a boss fight. The language Team Cherry uses here is pretty vague, so maybe they were never meant to be a boss fight. And Team Cherry's comments about referring to them working together was just that they complemented each other in design and in the areas where you fight them, like around the Citadel. But if that's the case, you would think they would actually appear together in one area where you could fight them all at once. In-game, they stick to their own little corners, like they're a broken-up boy band that doesn't want to see each other, but they can't afford to rent somewhere else. Anyway, they weren't cut, so we should probably stop talking about them. We never got real, actual, full of Lion's Village. This is the greatest loss that Silksong faced, bar none. I am crying. Looks like Blasted Steps didn't just take Coral Gorge's place in development. In-universe, what used to be the lower half of Sansa Karak has now dried up and died. It's kind of like that plant your mom asked you to water 3 weeks ago. It's probably fine. Pharloom Bay is apparently what the Barnacle Bay area was called, and the little guy outside the Pin Sharpener's hut is named Pin. And he's actually still in the code, he's just disabled for some reason. Also, apparently a failure ending was cut from the game. These two, I don't know why they were cut. It doesn't make any sense to me. The failure ending especially, it just works. Like, you could just turn it on in the code, and there's even, like, a unique cutscene for it. Like, Team Cherry put a lot of effort to put this ending in the game, and they just cut it for some reason. I don't know why. It feels so weird. What a strange choice. What strange men, those Team Cherry. An enigma wrapped up in a Hollow Knight-shaped cocoon. Of course, everything... No, wait. It's a Hollow Knight-shaped enigma wrapped up in a silk-shaped cocoon. Of course, everything in this video until now was small potatoes. The real biggest question left in Silksong is what happened between Hornet and the Hollow Knight. And believe it or not, we actually have some answers. Buried in the code are developer notes. Usually these are unimportant things like, please don't touch this, everything will break. But occasionally you get some real juicy stuff. And just yesterday, data miners found a developer note from Ari Gibson that says the Hollow Knight was going to... The Hollow Knight section of this video has been cut for time. Maybe in 2 months you can hear about it in a cut content video. And now we've covered everything. That's all for this video, but maybe, just maybe, you'll be hearing more from me soon. Might even be more Silksong. Or it'll be a video about Valorant.